Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Today, we're going to be talking about Cosmic Crucible. Now, we're going to be doing a little bit of a recap of what happened to me last week or this past week as we move into the next week. Now, obviously, I am recording this a little bit early. This is intended to be released on a Sunday. One thing that I do want to say up front, unfortunately, there was some bug with the Cosmic Crucible replays. I believe that triggered on Thursday. So some of the footage that, or some of the content that we're going to be taking a look at today is not going to have actual gameplay footage, and I apologize for that. I really wish that I had it. But I want to talk about one team that has made me win a lot of my matches. I would have gone 3-0 this past week, but I fucked something up. So, it's my fault. But I mean, the defense that I want to show you in this video is, I think, something that's going to be really good and very helpful if you have these characters available, which you probably should, because a lot of the characters in this are obsolete or getting obsolete. So we'll talk about that. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now we're gonna go backwards. This is my trial 3. And the room that the particular team in this video, at least, that I want to share with you, and this is the a defense that I've been using for about a couple of, well, actually since season 7 started. And I want to thank Captain King, who you may remember is the person who does a lot of the infographics. I posted on my Discord server. He's done some of my infographics as well, and he let we talk about Cosmic Crucible. We share ideas and things like that, and we talk about our week. And he gave me this team. Maybe somebody else had it, but I heard it from him first. To me, anyways, is using Apocalypse with the other horsemen. Now, I'm not saying Apocalypse is obsolete. I misspoke a little bit in the intro. I meant to say that kind of the other horsemen are obsolete. Some people are still using Rogue in mixed X-Men teams. But by and large, I would say at this point in time, Morgan Le Fay, Red Hulk, and Archangel are largely obsolete. You're not using the full team anymore, right? And so it does, unfortunately, then draw out your Apocalypse to put on the defense. But I think now that we have Cabal on the offense, I think that it's an acceptable shift to move your Apocalypse into the defense. Now, what you see here is room number 4. This is the villains room, right? And we'll come back to this, actually. So I just want to set up defense. All right, there's my here. You saw it, right? And this is my defense for the week. We'll go back over this after I talk about this. But room number 4 is unstable energy, and it's related to villain characters. Now, ultimate abilities cost 2 less ability energy and lowers max health by 25%. So who is actually impacted by this? It's Archangel, it's Morgan Le Fay, and Apocalypse. Now, they all actually come preloaded with their ult, so that's not really why we're talking about this. The good thing is it's a good thing Rogue isn't a villain, because you want her to taunt anyways, right? And typically you want Red Hulk to use his special first, right? If he somehow could get to his ult on turn 1, that would be amazing, but he's not. He's doing they're both heroes, they're doing those skills first, that's fine. Now, Morgan Le Fay's ultimate has such an insanely low cooldown. I believe it's a cooldown of 4. Now, in this room, it's a cooldown of 2. 2. So which means that every other turn, assuming she takes a second turn or more, which she very, very well might, she'll be doing this every other turn, which is crazy. Archangel's, I believe, ult is pretty low as well. And it's actually possible that within this arrangement, that Apocalypse could also very well get to an ult a second time, depending on how long the fights go on. So I want to kind of go back to the results that I showed you here and kind of talk about what I've been seeing. So in this, and some of this is surprising, but there's even more surprises after when I check my other trials. So this is my trial 3. This was a Cabal with Omega Red and Kang. And they were able to kill, 4 of the horsemen, but they weren't able to kill Apocalypse. And that's pretty something, because Cabal Kang are very powerful. Like, they're very powerful. And these were G17 Cabal. They were fairly built, not completely. There's a 1 diamond Namor, actually, in fact. So they weren't able to full shot this team. And I found that almost nobody can one-shot this unless you're stacking every single meta character available. So that's which to me is a win, honestly. We'll take a look at some of those that happened this week too. And then they kind of went in with a Black Knight. I don't know why I actually lost this trial. I don't know why Black Knight's on offense, but maybe he's trying to do that against the Skrull. I screwed up because I'm an idiot with my attacks, and so the only reason why I lost is because I did this stupid thing where I tried to put Hive Mind into Unlimited X-Men, and maybe I did the wrong thing, but I managed to screw it up somehow. I think it's because this is room 1. I did not have Void Knight as a skirmisher, therefore I did not ability block everyone. So that's probably where I fucked up. But had I won this, or had I just not thought about that proper, or thought more, I probably would have been 3-0 in this trial. So this room 4 for me has actually been really good and instrumental in me getting 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3 the last couple of weeks. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm almost into Diamond 2, I think, or I will be in there. And I thought I was in Platinum, honestly. Like, I've been gaining points every single week as a result of this team. It's really, really helped. So I want to go back to let's go to trial number 2. And then we'll take a look at that room as well on my defense. And again, you're seeing, like, what's interesting is I do like this room 1. Very occasionally, yes, I lost an 8-3-7-1, but they ended up using Apocalypse and Cabal to beat my Black Knight over here. Like, that's just crazy. All those crazy characters. But let's take a look at my room number 4, right? And so they used Super Skrull. Now, Super Skrull in this room will basically come loaded with his ult. Most people still like use the special to get the offense up and things like that. But this failed as well. Somehow Rogue survived with like a sliver of HP, and I really wish I could have had the replay for this. Maybe I'll get to do this again next week if I have similar results, which I'm kind of expecting, unless somebody sees this video and then just finds a way to kill this a lot easier. But every single time, either I've won at least one time, or they've had to use basically everything in their arsenal. Now, they still didn't win, even with Super Skrull, right? They have other characters. Emma was, I think, pretty useless in this because, Apocalypse neuters Emma. So I'm not sure what the value of that was. Probably not the best collection of characters to use alongside Super Skrull, but there was 2 heroes and 2 villains, and still it just was not enough damage to kill everyone. And then we have they went into the Hive Mind as well. Now I want to show you trial number 1, because this one's kind of interesting, and I really wish that we had the replays on this. But room number 4. Also, I seem to be getting a lot of random wins when it comes to using Pegasus on defense. It is so easy, let me tell you, to use Bifrost on the offense to beat a Pegasus. So I think that Pegasus is probably the better to have on defense rather than on offense, because I feel that a lot of people attempt to do a Pegasus mirror match, which is basically 50-50. And I don't like coin flips in terms of who goes first, so I'd rather do it this way because I think it matters about which of your Darkhawks go first usually. So yeah, anyways, I don't like doing Pegasus versus Pegasus, and a Hive Mind does not really beat Pegasus as a full team. Also, Void Knight is actually no, sorry, I was talking about never mind, scratch that. And room number 4. So this is what I wanted to draw your attention to. Now, did I lose? Yes, I did. This is the only time that I lost, 8-3-7-2. However, if you take a look at who is actually on this offensive roster lineup, it is Cabal with Apocalypse and Super Skrull. These are literally your biggest offensive tools, more or less, in one team. So it took all of that for them to beat what is arguably a group and selection of characters that you're not really using that much anymore. Red Hulk, Morgan Le Fay, like, I just don't have space on my defense to put these in their full teams. Like, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, right? Gamma, Darkhold. I did use Darkhold last season, but I'm just not using them this season. And Archangel, because Death Seed is pretty obsolete at this point. Now, I don't think you really need to go into like investing in the Horseman characters to do this. I think it's just a really good way to utilize what's probably a pretty big Apocalypse, I hope, or you're on your way to doing that, and then other Horseman characters who you may not be utilizing that much. Rogue is probably the only one, like I said earlier on, that you might get some value out of in another team, but I'm not doing a second X-Men team this time around, so I will share with you what my defense is. I'm not saying you should copy this. I'm not saying this is the best thing on the market. I'm just saying that this is what works for me, and I've seen a lot of good value in a variety of different ways in this. So we'll just start off from left to right. That I have out of time. I don't have the other out of time characters really built. Starbrand and Cosmic Ghost Rider are very low. And when it comes to Cosmic Crucible, you really want to have your best characters. So my Starbrand and Cosmic Ghost Rider are less than Gear 16. They're not going to survive very well. And frankly, I just don't think it's a lot of value right now. But I do have 1 diamond in Noir and Ghost Spider, and I'm getting a lot of value in the Skirmisher ISO for them. So depending on who they use to beat this, because Spider-Man Noir will often go first, and that gives him a chance to potentially ability block other characters under the Skirmisher ISO for when he's using his ultimate, and it potentially spreads to multiple characters. So I've seen that happen before as well, and I'm using the 3-piece of Out of Time. Room number 2, I'm using Pegasus, of course, because again, I feel like this is the best use for Pegasus this season, is to put them on defense, and a lot of other people are using Bifrost to beat for their defense, right? But Bifrost is actually the best way to beat a Pegasus defense. I did really well, and actually I want to show you that because I did do it in my recent trial 3, I believe. I did right here. 2.1 million to 2.5 million Pegasus, 8369. This was a very good score. So this is why my Bifrost are not on the defense. I think that this is really good to have, and I would rather have them on offense so I can do this. And then with me, I still have a really good track record of using my Hive Mind to beat other Bifrost defenses. So it really depends on what they have in there. It's a bit of a game of chess, right? You know, what team they have on there. But I just don't have any, when it comes to using Pegasus offensively, I just don't have a lot of good space for them. You know, you could do, again, what are people doing? They're to beat Bifrost, they're doing the 4-piece of Pegasus and using Apocalypse. But like, I really don't want to use Apocalypse for the raid room, right? Like, because then that detracts from my team that I have in room number 4. Anyways, so this is just how I prefer to do it. Room number 3, we have Extreme X-Men minus Cyclops with Dormammu, and I've actually pulled some defense wins for this as well. It does give the revive once. It's a lot harder to clear revive once this season than it was last season, when you could use symbiotes as hive mind, or hive mind symbiotes as superior 6 or whatever the hell it was, right? And then they get hit and then clear the revive once and things like that. So now with offense up, that Sunspot gives offense up on spawn, that all of the Extreme X-Men have the chance to assist, and the extra revive once helps. As far as the actual the usage of Dormammu, it's mostly just there to keep them alive. Also, unfortunately, right, like what you could do, a different variant, you could get rid of Sunspot and move this into a different room and put Cyclops in, because when Cyclops and Forge are on the same team and somebody dies, Forge gets 100% turn bar, which is really, really good. And so I regret that I'm not getting that mechanic, but then I think I would probably have to shift this out of room 3, and I have nowhere else to put them at this time. Room number 4 with the unstable energy, though, we already talked about this and why this is so good, so I'm not going to go into further detail about this. And room number 5, just because I have Infinity Watch built, I have just put them in room 5 for, just to eat up efficiency points. I don't think that the full team of Darkhold or Death Seed or Gamma are better than having Infinity Watch on the defense, at least at this level. So that's why I'm still using them, because of that safeguard immunity combo. It's a lot harder to get rid of now because we don't have the old season 6 rules with the whole, using Mysterio with some symbiotes to get rid of the immunity. You can't really do that anymore. It's a little bit harder. And then of course, room number 6 it feels like it's like the default now Secret Defender's defense. I just decided to chuck Dr. Doom in there for what it's worth. And that's what I have, right? This is my defense lineup. I just wanted to share some of this with you. Particularly, I really wanted to point this out. We'll see if anyone picks this up. I think this is a really good team. I almost want to say it's close to unbeatable. You saw that the only team that actually beat it was Cabal, Skrull, and Apocalypse, which is putting an insane amount of meta characters into one team for one attack. And that's a win for me. If that's what they end up doing to beat me, then great. That means that's a lot less tools that they have to beat my other rooms. That's just my thoughts anyways. Let me know what you feel in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for Crucible defenses that have worked well for you. Because I'm really starting to actually get a little bit more into this, and there might be some more Crucible videos on this channel to come. So that's the end of this video, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all later, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Boilon, signing out.